Why is it so important to become a successful solopreneur? Because life is way too short and way too precious to spend it doing work that you hate. Now, don't get me wrong, I completely understand that we all have to make a living, pay our bills, take care of our responsibilities. And most of us are doing that or have to do that at the moment, doing jobs that we can't stand. The soul sucking day to day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5s that, you know, we just genuinely hate going to. But the truth is, in today's world, in our modern world, becoming a successful solopreneur is so much easier and far more possible than it has ever been before. Now, that doesn't mean it is easy. That doesn't mean it's not going to come without hardships and struggles and not going to take a lot longer than you would like. But the truth is it's easier and more possible than it's ever been before. And, recently I was sitting down and journaling about why this is so important to me and why do I want to put myself out here and have these conversations and, potentially, trigger people or, create a little conflict or a little struggle. Um, it's because of this. So my mother passed away a little over 2 years ago now. And she passed away from colon cancer. Um, we had known for a couple of years after she was diagnosed that, this was going to be the likely outcome. And the one thing that we had that we were acutely aware of was that we only had so much time left. And we got to decide how we were going to spend it. Now, mind you, my mom worked 50 years for the same company. She worked for a grocery store called Kroger for 50 years since she was 17 years old. And she did so honorably, loyally to take care of my sister and I, to see to it that we had everything that she didn't. We had the opportunities that she did not growing up. And my mother succeeded at that at a very high level. But she did so working a job that she hated. 6, oftentimes 7 days a week, 50, 60 hours at a time to be the sole breadwinner for 2 children. And in the final weeks of my mom's life, um, she was really reflecting on a lot of things. One of them was that her goals after retirement was to be able to travel more and live her life and finally experience the things that she wanted to experience. And it was literally 6 months to the day that she was going to retire that she was diagnosed. And what was going to be the time of her life became a fight for her life. From the day that she retired, she spent the majority of that time going to and from uh, hospitals and doctors and, in and out of chemo treatments and literally the majority of her travel at that time was to other states to be in trials, trying to find a cure or anything that would prolong her life and the quality of her life. And when the time came that we knew that there were no more trials and we knew that the chances of her, making a recovery was essentially coming to an end, my mother and I started to have really honest conversations. We always had, but, more specifically around the experience she was having, knowing that she was coming to the end of her life. And I'll never forget one day when mom was sharing with me, all the things that she was really proud of, raising both of us kids, um, living a life that she was of integrity, was honorable, um, was always taking care of her responsibilities and doing the best of her abilities to make sure that everyone that she loved knew it. But then she started to share her regrets. And although there wasn't many, thank goodness, the regrets that she just couldn't shake as she was looking back on her life was that uh, she abandoned her dreams, She abandoned her desires. She abandoned her interest um, for the sake of, taking care of us and committing to a job to pay the bills. She was a singer, I learned. She was a phenomenal artist, which I'd known, growing up. I'd seen some of her paintings and come to find out she'd won many awards in high school and, uh, city awards and county and even state, if I'm not mistaken, for her art. But she abandoned it because, she didn't know how to turn that into something that her family could depend on. And there was no one in her life that had done so on their own either. So she really had no examples. Um, and looking back, she told me to never quit chasing my dreams and never quit doing whatever it takes to create the life that I'm proud of. Um, and it's my mother, it's my mother's life that really motivates me to do this. Um, and over the last 10 years, you may know, like I've been building my own coaching practice. My background is in transformational psychology. I've been helping people, work through things like self-sabotage and trauma and self-limiting beliefs and all these things for many years. But the truth is, I had been struggling with my own this entire time. And, you know, the reason why this is so important to me is because I absolutely refuse to live a life where um, I didn't pursue the things that I wanted, even if they didn't work out. I absolutely refuse to allow my struggles to be in vain. And I absolutely refuse to not share the lessons and the breakthroughs and the tools and the literal how-tos that I have learned in this 10-year process with you, because my intention is that it doesn't take you as long as it took me um, to become your definition of success. And it's my mission to help you create a business that fulfills you, that is driven by purpose, that transforms your pain into something more meaningful and becomes something that your family can depend on and that you will be proud of. So my why is very simple. It's because we only get one life. And I believe to my core that this life is too precious to spend the majority of it doing work that you hate. I hope this resonates. And if it does, I encourage you to continue to listen to these episodes, share your feedback, send in your questions. We're going to make these episodes as impactful and relevant to you and your journey as we possibly can. And just know that I'm committed because I actually give a damn. And I've witnessed firsthand what it looks like to regret the things you didn't do when you no longer have the chance to do them. And it's my mission that you never experience that yourself. So until next episode, have a powerful day. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side of your definition of success.